Okay, so in this video, I'm going to basically look at this Jazzmaster, play it in a few different styles, try and figure out what I love about it, a few things that might need working on, and basically let you know if this is a guitar you should be interested in, who does it work for. And I think I'm a good candidate for this because this guitar is probably the furthest thing from what you would naturally think would fit me, right? I play sort of, you know, Delta blues. Slide stuff. You know, like 60s blues. And I don't naturally associate that with a Jazzmaster. Where I saw the contact point was with, you know, probably my favourite guitarist, or one of at the moment, Barry Cadogan. Who plays a bunch of different instruments from ES330s to Black Beauty with a staple and P92, you know, things like Jazzmasters. You know, he's very eclectic and he uses each guitar to make, you know, it's a very creative approach to it. Now, in honesty, I didn't go to Coda to buy a Jazzmaster. I went there because a Collings 470JL, that is the Julian Large signature guitar, had come in, and I'd wanted one since release like 2 years ago, and they always sell out really quickly despite the massive price. Well, I asked them to put it aside for a day, and I went down there excited and expecting, and this had, you know, come out of the blue, but I had got a few big pieces that I could trade with Coda, such as my 40 watt 2-Rock, which is not here anymore. I'm playing through the 100 watt, which is my favorite amp. And I had other things. I had a Gibson Les Paul that I wanted to trade in, and another amp, a few things, right? So I got there, sat in the room at Coda, plugged the JL in, and immediately just knew it wasn't for me. There was no connection at all to the way it played and sounded. Gorgeous instrument. It will suit someone. Someone else is going to snap it up, guaranteed. So I'm looking around the shop, And, you know, I don't need another Telecaster or Strat, but I always like to sit around and play them. So I tried the ones made by Atkins. They were great. Tried some Fender stuff, obviously. And then I was walking past a rack. Oh, and I also tried the Castadosa Conches Standard. If you've been on my channel much before, you know I've got the baritone version of that I absolutely adore. And I've been thinking about buying a Standard or a different model. But the one that's there is gorgeous, similar colour green to mine. I didn't quite vibe with it. I think it's the P90s. They're a bit modern sounding in that guitar. So I was walking around the shop. I'd gone upstairs. That's where they have the Gibsons and a few other things. Came back down and just thought, I've tried one Jazzmaster before. A traditional looking one, 62 custom shop with the Jazzmaster pickups. Really loved it. I was hoping it would still be in the shop to try again, but it wasn't. But here they had a rack with 3 of these ones with these humbuckers in, and that's the first thing I noticed. I thought, okay, you know, the Jazzmaster pickups can be a little bit bright or brittle or not quite for me, especially for bluesy stuff. But these, I've heard great things about these wide range pickups, and I played one once before and liked it. So I picked up the guitar. Now, before I go any further, you've only heard this guitar. If you saw the little video I put out yesterday, you know, that was pretty overdriven. Same today with a slide and tuned to a random, well, weird tuning. So let's just hear a tiny bit. You know, I'm not a jazz guy, so you're not going to hear any actual jazz. This is as exotic as it gets. But let's just hear what this sounds like. Full fat neck position, clean, before I carry on. So, as I said, the whole offset thing is not something I've really done much before. You know, Jaguars, Jazzmasters, and things like that. I've always looked at them and thought, those are cool, but it's not really going to suit the way I play. But when I picked this one up, I realised it was a bit like, I used to do a lot of photography, street photography, and you give yourself a creative sort of limitation. Maybe you'd pick a focal length, or, you know, you'd say, I'm only going to take pictures of buildings today, or whatever it is. And if I play a Strat, I sound like I'm playing a Strat. I mould myself to it. I've talked about this on the channel before. Recently, I've been buying instruments that I don't have any recognisable thought about who played them and what they played them for. So I've got my black Les Paul Custom with 3 pickups and a Bigsby. I've got the red Telecaster with the rosewood fretboard. I have no connection to any famous players that I know or watched as a kid that played those. Same with the Double Cut Junior that I've been loving recently. So I find when I play those instruments that I'm much freer and I'm exploring music just from my perspective and not, oh, this is a Strat, I'm going to play Stevie Ray Vaughan type or Jimi Hendrix, which I love, don't get me wrong. So this instrument straight away fell into that category. I just tuned it to open D and played some slide stuff in the shop. And luckily they had a 100-watt 2-rock there, which was attenuated. And without any pedals, it just produced this incredible, big, vibrant sound that I was looking for. It just naturally suited slide. I don't know if it's just the pickups. I think they play a big part to it. The shape of the guitar is so comfortable. So straight away when I sat down and just plugged it in and started playing it, as I said, it immediately, I felt that connection you do to a guitar that you end up falling in love with, right? For me, it's normally the first bend of a note, and I hear the sustain and feel the guitar sort of coming to life. And I did that, and I just thought, yeah, I'm going to have to sit here. I sat there for nearly 3 hours in the end playing this with about 20 other guitars. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just having a moment where I'd come for the Collings and left, didn't want to leave without a guitar. So I played all the other Jazzmasters they had. I played a bunch of Strats and Tellys, and then I played some other stuff. I played a couple of Iversons and some Gibsons, and just wanted to get, and some Gretches. Oh, that was my first time playing any Gretches. I can tell you what, those are very cool. Yeah, you might see one of those here one day. But anyway, back to this guitar. What does it offer you that none of the other ones do? Okay, let's start with the obvious, shall we? The whole bridge system on this is I guess, unique to these couple of offset guitars that Fender do. And it's got its own look. You know, the whole thing is, it's for me, because I haven't been in this world of offsets, it's more unique. So for me, it's like something new for my eyes, and it's interesting, and I'm enjoying looking at it. Plus, I love the fact that it's this really vintage, cool looking colours to me. I like those. I would have wanted a Sunburst if I'd just been ordering one, so I'm glad I saw this. Now, I hear stories from people about how they don't like these. I'm just so new to it that there's no point me worrying about it right now. Someone else commented yesterday saying that I don't need to swap the bridges. They are good if you know how to set them up. And that's fair. I think for the sake of the channel, I probably will get a Mastery, or I think Halion is another company people talk about. I'll get one of those and we'll do a comparison, because why not? That's what I do on the channel, so it makes sense. I guess if you know how to set these up properly, they're absolutely fine. I was having an issue with the G string though. So yeah, the way this wiggles, it does this sort of lo-fi. Do you remember when a cassette tape was on the way out and it would waver? That's what this vibrato sounds like. And I really enjoy that. And I'm not sure if it's vibrato or tremolo. I forget which one is doing what. But anyway, you know what I mean. It does this wobbly, shimmery, lovely thing that sounds so cool. And it's different. It's different from a Bigsby, which is a bit meatier. And it's different from a Strat, which I don't get the wobble from so much. I get more of a dive. So yeah, this is cool. It's got a lot of leverage, so you can really go at it quite quickly. Okay, what next? This neck is, I think they call it the 62 Jazzmaster neck. It's incredibly comfortable. One of the most comfortable necks I've ever picked up. It's reasonably slim, hasn't got big shoulders. I just felt straight away like anybody, it's a universal neck shape, I feel. One of those where I don't think anyone would hate it, and I think a lot of people would love it. Very comfortable for slide, very comfortable for chords. I think if you do play a lot of chords and a lot of rhythm stuff, it's fantastic. So that's a massive plus in my mind. The next thing are these pickups. I'm glad I played a master built Jazzmaster with the Jazzmaster pickups there, and I played a few Jazzes before and thought, I'm not sure about these pickups. It's just not creating the sound I want. So for me, and for anyone who's coming at Jazzmasters not from the traditional way of looking at them, I think this pickup set is just brilliant. Now, I want to have a look under here. I wonder if I can get different pick guards with different shapes. Like, are there cavities underneath that would take other shapes? Maybe I could get some P90s in a pick guard or something else. So that would be a fun thing. But now, let's figure out what these do. I haven't even Googled it yet, and I don't know anything about it. So let me figure it out, and I'm going to show you what they do, because this is also unique to these offset guitars. Okay, a quick Google has told me that this guitar has a couple of different circuits in it. So when it's in the down position on that switch, that's called the lead circuit. And in that case, these two dials are not operational. Both pickups work as normal, selector switch works as normal, master volume and tone work as normal as you'd expect. Right, if I flick it up, I'm then in the rhythm circuit that only operates the neck pickup. And then we have a rhythm circuit, volume and tone. So these dials are only in operation when that is to the left. So I've been mucking about with them when it's in the right, thinking maybe it's doing something, but I'm not sure. I'm glad to say I didn't really hear anything. So, That's good. But apparently a lot of people have, taken their Jazzmasters to their local techs. When they put this in the rhythm position and then this pickup's not working, they're not sure. So we can clear that up. Let's just hear what this does in the rhythm pickup thingy circuit. Okay, so let's keep it in the lead setting just so we know it's working as you'd expect. So neck, middle, bridge. Okay, let's just turn these both that way. So it doesn't really do anything, right? They're out of the circuit. And then that's your tone. This is your volume. What I like about this bridge, even though it's a humbucker, it still has that shimmery, bridgy quality of a Jazzmaster. So I really like that. The neck. It's that lovely silky Fender neck position, like a Strat sort of thing. Okay, right. So flicking this up, off, because this is the master volume. Or the volume for the rhythm circuit, I should say. And that's the tone. And you'll see this does nothing. That does nothing, that volume's all the way off. So, why would I use this? I mean, if you're a real jazz person playing those sort of lovely old, deep guitar, clean jazz rhythm things that you do, then I think that's what it's for. It sounds like that to me. Why would I use it? Probably as a kill switch. Like, I don't know why else I would use it. I guess the only other reason I'd use it would be to put a really dark tone. So this is in the lead. There's got to be some creative applications for that I could definitely use. I'm sure a lot of people do, where you keep the rhythm one really dark, or maybe just slightly off the bottom there because it is really dark. There you go, so it's dark but articulate. I think I don't play neo soul stuff. A lot of you smooth guys probably do. This would work really well for that. A few years ago, I thought I'll give some neo soul stuff a try and learnt a few little, bits and pieces, and enjoyed it at the time, but haven't got any of it left in me. But I could imagine that darker, smoother, silkier sound working for that. So if you play more alternative stuff and lots of pedals or neo soul or whatever, or you're a rhythm player for whom in some tracks you have to be discreet and in the background completely, it works great. And I love these pickups. They are just beautiful, right? They're so articulate and they're so dynamic. They're very different from like a PAF style. They don't have the big bite, thick bite. They have a completely different, Completely different thing. But they give you some of that sustain that a normal humbucker would. And they're not noisy because they're a humbucker. They don't hum, funnily enough. So I'm a big fan of these all of a sudden. Right. Let's attack this with some fuzz to see what these pickups do. Okay, that guitar can definitely hold its own with those different types of fuzzes. Works really well. The pickups just hold together, and actually I feel like it's nice and tight. You know, sometimes with a fuzz it can get a bit too flubby, but that works really, really well. So look, overall, there's lots of massive pluses here, apart from the fact that I seem to have just instantly fallen for this particular Jazzmaster and I can't put it down. It has fantastic pickups with these wide range humbuckers. I really recommend you trying those if you haven't. I enjoy the switching things. It's a novelty. May not use it that much. What I really love is the trem on this. I haven't spent a lot of time with these, so hearing that it's a different sound than any other trem that I play. So it gives you something else creatively, and I love that. I like how lively this guitar is. I like the comfort of it. The neck is really lovely to play. And it just looked cool. There are a couple of downsides. One of these downsides I think is probably by design. From what I've seen in other videos, these guitars were designed to sort of emulate the interesting way that the sort of old jazz boxes were put together. You know, the angle that this forms here at the bridge, where this comes up from a tailpiece, and then, So I think it makes the strings a little bit stiffer than on a Strat or a Tele. And I'm finding when I'm doing like lead lines, particularly bending the G string is not as fluid as it is on those other guitars. It doesn't feel like it's made for that sort of normal blues lead stuff because, you know, the clue's in the name. It probably isn't made for that. What it offers me in return is something that's got this particular tightness and clear sound, even at those sort of real high fuzzy levels. With the slide, it comes into its own. It's really articulate compared to a Strat, and it's not as thin or screechy as I found some Telecasters to be. So it's perfect for that. I love it, especially with a bit of gain in there. So that works really, really well. The other thing is the bridge. Famously, these bridges are a little bit, well, I don't know. What's the word? The strings like to come out. So that was there a second ago. It keeps doing that. But someone put in the comments of the last little video I made about this guitar, really useful. There's a useful YouTube video about how to set these up. And the idea is that you need more of an angle on the neck downwards so that it creates more string tension. And you put a shim in the neck pocket. So I've ordered some shims. It'll be between 3/4 of a degree and 1 degree. So I've ordered a 0.25, 0.5 and a 1. And I'm going to make a little video about installing that and seeing, because literally right now it goes out of tune every 2 minutes. You've heard it in the video. I couldn't help it. You know, as soon as you use the trem arm twice, it's out of tune. Supposedly this extra string tension will help the string moving, and it will help that. And who knows what it will do to the way the G string feels to bend as well. So I'm excited to try that. I'll do that next week. But really, those are the only downsides. You know, something that's by design in this guitar that maybe changes the way it plays lead compared to other guitars, but then the guitar offers you other things in return. And then this whole thing with the bridge, which may be rectifiable with a couple of shims. So I'm excited to try that. So I think this particular spec with these pickups makes this guitar more approachable to all sorts of different guitarists, because I find the Jazzmaster pickups alone can be great for what they're intended for, but they're not so great for some other styles. So if you're more of a blues person or a slide player or a bit heavier sound perhaps, but you don't want it to sound exactly like the Jazzmasters do when they're played heavier, these humbuckers in here, honestly, it's a bit of a game changer. I'm so glad I picked this guitar up because I had no idea how comfortable they were, how much fun the trem system was, and overall how inspiring this guitar is as a whole. And it's got me interested in the whole offset thing. So ultimately, what's great is giving me an instrument that just feels like it's maybe not intended for what I'm using it for, even though it's absolutely fine, obviously, to play it that way, and it plays it really nicely, makes me feel freer, and that's something I'm always looking for. So yeah, I hope that's been useful. If you've got any questions, let me know down in the comments. As I said, I'm going to follow up by showing you how the shims change the neck angle and what that does to the playability of it and the tuning stability. So we'll look at that next week. Coming up in the next few videos, I've been lent a nice tweed amp by Coda. It's a Victoria amp. They've taken on Victoria as you know, they're going to be their dealer here. So this is a really cool looking amp and got lots of features. So we'll have a look at that. And then it's probably finally time to do a big video about this red Telecaster here. This was part of my whole Peach shopping trip, and I haven't actually done the main video. Same with the Black Les Paul Custom, and same with the Collings 35 over there. And some acoustics that I've now got on the wall. So there's that. And then I'm going to be filming my 2020, end of 23 sort of guitar collection video. I like to do sort of one a year. It's either sort of beginning or end of a year. There's been a lot gone that I've not even mentioned and not made videos about because it all happened too much too quickly. Sold a lot of amps. A few guitars have gone. There's been a lot of pickup changes. Quite a few new fuzz pedals have come in. So that should be a fun one. Hoping to release that near the end of November. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.